Hey everyone, welcome back. Hey, if you'll notice on page 123 of your Cover the Bible notes, you're going to see there's some comments there that explain the fact that in the actual Hebrew text of the Old Testament, there's no distinctions made between 1st and 2nd Kings and 1st and 2nd Chronicles, as there is in your Bible. But in the actual Hebrew text, we just have Kings and we have Chronicles. So it's only one book, Kings and Chronicles. So as you scan 1st Chronicles, chapters 1 through 12, you might ask yourself, why all these genealogies? Well, if you take the time to really get acquainted with Kings and Chronicles, you're going to discover a very significant fact. In Kings, there is a record of all the tribes of Israel. In Chronicles, there's an entirely different perspective. Practically everything mentioned refers to the one tribe of Judah. Now, the writer refers to the rest of the tribes only as needed to put things in perspective. Everything is written from the viewpoint of the line of David, which will become the lineage of Jesus. Another big difference is that the reports of Chronicles center around the temple. And this is not true of Kings' writings. During the reign of David, he wanted to get the temple built, but God told him that he could not do so because he was a warrior king, and God wanted a man of peace to build the temple. Therefore, David's son Solomon became the one who built the temple. Now, do you recall back in Genesis chapter 4 that we introduced two different lines of men? One we called the God rejectors. The other we called the God followers. Now, as we look back on our study so far, we begin to realize that the Bible has been tracing the God followers the whole time. As needed, there are references to the God rejectors, but the focus was always on the people who lived by faith, who were the servants of the Most High God. Now, pay special attention to the genealogies listed in Chronicles, for they will help you trace this line of faith and hope. Never ever decide that a chapter in the Bible has no significance for you. Every part of it has meaning. For example, 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 13 through 14 tells us, Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and of the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites, and the Girgashites, and on it goes. Now, if you have time, if you have one of the, as I mentioned earlier about different references that you could get for yourself to increase your Bible study, I mentioned the Zondervan Bible Encyclopedia. If you happen to have that, or just do an online search of Jebusites. The name literally means to be trampled down. Now, we discover that Jerusalem, which means the place of peace, was overrun by the Jebusites, and they dropped its original name and named it Jebus. So the place of peace became the place where you're trampled down. So David ended up conquering the city and restoring its rightful name. Now, these people were part of the Canaanite tribes. That is, they were fathered by Canaan. They were so powerful that they were not ever conquered until David's time. In 2 Samuel chapter 5, we see the strategy that David used to conquer them. And it's pretty fascinating. After David's time, the Jebusites were conquered. And it was from Ornah, the Jebusite, that David bought a threshing floor that became the site for the Ark of the Covenant. Your Bible is full of treasures like this. And if you skip over stuff, you're going to miss out on these little nuggets of gold like that. So here's a significant passage for you about not giving to God something that cost you nothing. It's found in 2 Samuel chapter 24. On that day, Gad went to David and said to him, "Go up and build an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of the Jebusite." And Araunah said, "Lord, why has the Lord my king come to his servant?" "To buy your threshing floor," David answered, "so I can build an altar to the Lord, that the plague on the people may be stopped." And Araunah said to David, "Let my lord the king take whatever pleases him and offer it up. Here are oxen for the burnt offering, and here are threshing sledges and ox yokes for the wood." And he said, "O king, Araunah gives all of it to his king." But David replied to Araunah, "No, I insist on paying you for it, for I will not sacrifice to the Lord my God burnt offerings that cost me nothing." David bought the threshing floor and the oxen and paid 50 shekels of silver for them. God bless you all, and we will see you tomorrow.